You
hurt
can
yourself.
hurt yourself, and
Yeah.
you can hurt other people as well.
A day in Gotham City is rarely injury-free. Broken bones, bruises covering half a person's face, and injuries sustained by a whip made for brutal days on set. And we've got 15 of the worst incidents coming right up.
There is an element of fear.
Number 1. This nasty injury came right out of the gate. Robert Pattinson was hardly even used to the fact that he was Batman before a stunt brought him down. I broke my wrist at the beginning of it all, doing a stunt, even before COVID. Needing time to recover at that point worked out pretty well since so soon after, COVID did shut the production down, giving the actor plenty of time to properly recover. In retrospect, Pattinson realized how intense it all felt at the time. I remember when that seemed like the worst thing that could go wrong. With a start like this, it's no wonder that by the end he was really dead afterward. Number 2. No pain, no gain, right? Maybe that's what the Riddler actor was thinking when he came up with what seemed like a good plan.
I thought, well, I'll wrap myself in some cling film and see if that will cover up any DNA evidence.
The actor was obviously struggling, with director Matt Reeves saying he looked like a beet after revealing what was going on under the mask.
My head was throbbing and the sweat couldn't escape from my body.
This was just his first full day on set.
It was hard to, come down sometimes.
The costume department wound up making some adjustments so the actor could work more easily, but the struggles didn't stop there, as the actor carried a bit of trauma with him after the fact. I probably didn't sleep as well as I would have liked on some nights because it was a little difficult to come down from this character.
But it all hopefully fueled the fire.
Number 3. Tough guys can take a beating every now and then, right?
And she punches hard. I forgot about that.
Zoë Kravitz had to keep her energy up for her action sequences in the film, so between takes, she'd often beat on a punching bag.
There was also another time when you were punching me in between.
Except for that time that she used Rob as a punching bag instead. Her reasoning was pretty fair.
It's because we were starting in the middle of a fight.
Fortunately, Pattinson didn't have it as bad as another cast member that Kravitz did some serious damage to.
I hit someone in the face with a gun, remember?
Yikes. This Catwoman has some serious claws.
You're fine, you're Batman.
Number 4. When will the cowl struggles end? Even after so many brilliant actors have played Batman, the helmet portion of the suit still causes endless suffering to the Caped Crusaders.
That was the one that was very tight on my ears.
As if that, and the fact that he couldn't really see wasn't enough, Pattinson was also hooked up with an earpiece that he couldn't remove himself. It was a decent idea, as Matt Reeves was able to give the actor clear directions when in the Batsuit, but every now and then, all the walkie-talkies would wind up on the same channel, and Pattinson would get a big, convoluted, and very loud earful.
Trying to do a scene.
Number 5. This actor had a right to be nervous. Colin Farrell looks tough as can be as the Penguin, but racing down the street in a speeding car was a definite cause for alarm. The actor was pretty honest about his feelings surrounding filming the stunt.
I was scared, terrified, man, because I was being thrown all over the place and they had a driver on the roof of the car. I wasn't even in control.
He wasn't in control of the car at all and had to deal with being bumped erratically around the whole time. It was far from an easy shoot, but it made the whole acting scared portion a total breeze. Number 6. You gotta work with what you've got. And in this case, it was a bit of a match made in heaven. Andy Serkis as Alfred was pretty perfect casting for a few reasons. One of them being the fact that director Matt Reeves had written in a cane for the character. It made sense in the story, and when Serkis found out, he was all in.
Actually broken my left hip, so it actually kind of worked in my favor that I had a cane.
Now that was meant to be. Number 7. Sometimes the pain just doesn't quit. Zoë Kravitz came out of filming The Batman fairly unscathed, but that's because her training pushed her over the edge, leaving her seriously struggling.
Mostly, I just went home in a lot of pain every day.
The intense training and the fact that she was doing it non-stop left her with a whole lot of wear and tear that carried into her day-to-day.
Hobbling down the stairs.
On top of that, there were her claws.
They help you in the film. In life, they make your life very difficult.
They caused her a lot of grief and concern.
I couldn't open things, it was really scary washing my face at night.
Goes to show the length actors will go. Number 8. If you're gonna be punched by anyone, it might as well be someone super cool. Someone like, say, the Caped Crusader.
If you gotta take a punch, I guess you take one from Batman, you know?
Jeffrey Wright was a champ when his character, James Gordon, got a beating from Pattinson's Batman. But in the long run, the damage might have been worse than initially thought.
I'm still recovering a little bit, as you can clearly hear from my answers today.
That's just the price you pay to say you were punched by Batman. Number 9. It wasn't a pretty sight. Filming for the 2022 movie The Flash was intense, with one of the scarier days being when there was a full crash on set. One crew member was pulling double duty as a stunt and camera person, riding a motorcycle behind the Batcycle to capture all the action. Unfortunately, during one take, the crew member lost control and ran right into the back of the Batcycle, getting tangled up and dragged by it. Considering how fast they were going, it took some time to slow down and actually come to a proper stop so the stuntman could be taken care of. It was a terrifying moment, but fortunately, the cameraman didn't suffer any intense injuries and was able to get back to work a little bit later that day. Number 10. Playing Batman at an older age comes with its risks. Ben Affleck suffered a nasty shoulder strain filming Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. The actor did continue working, but his injury was showing as he was favoring his left side on camera until he just couldn't carry out all the action himself. His stunt double took over when there was some more heavy lifting to do, like casually and swiftly picking up a child. Number 11. These boys got a bit carried away. When Heath Ledger and Christian Bale filmed their first scene in The Dark Knight together, there was no holding back, in part because of just how committed Ledger was to the part. Bale was a bit hesitant with just how hard he was beating on his co-star, but Heath was there for it, even pushing him to go further with it so the scene would be authentic. If Bale showed any hesitation, Ledger was in his face taunting him to go on, go on, go on. Number 12. We know by now the cowl is always a tough one for Batmans. Christian Bale was nearly passing out performing in his batsuit. One day on set was particularly chilly, and the cold weather meant the cowl of the batsuit would get tighter than usual, and much tighter than desirable. The restriction became so intense, it caused Bale to gasp for air and start seeing stars. In the moment, Bale knew he had to escape the suit and urgently sought help before he was unconscious. Number 13. This cat can scratch. Anne Hathaway got a little too into character, and with a gun in hand, well, it made her a major danger. A stunt performer she was duking it out with saw the butt of a gun jammed into their eye socket, causing an almost instantaneous black eye and half-bruised face. The performer was a good sport about the ordeal, but Hathaway was understandably pretty mortified and wanted to make up for it a bit, somehow. That stunt performer is now the owner of a special silver pin Hathaway had made, saying, "Remember, no one packs a punch like Anne." Number 14. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's a crashing parachutist? One night, a man in Scotland was watching on as some high-flying stunts were being filmed nearby for The Dark Knight Rises, until things took a turn and a parachutist crashed into the roof of a house right next to him. Considering where they were filming, it's not too surprising there were intense wind conditions that ultimately caused the parachutist to lose control and crashed through the sky with nothing but a roof to break his landing. The accident was so brutal that it could have been a fatal one, but luckily the performer only suffered a few injuries. Number 15. Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman was a wild one. Filming Batman Returns saw the actress whipping around a 10-foot bullwhip. Pfeiffer accidentally cut her own face while she was training, but this didn't deter her from wanting to carry out her stunts. So, she covered up her injuries with makeup to hide the truth from the production team, who she worried would make her stop for safety. The damage of the whip didn't stop there, though. Pfeiffer's whipmaster found himself in the direct line of danger, the actress admitting, "I slashed his face and drew blood." Despite the bloodshed and injuries suffered, the actress was a big fan of using the whip, feeling it was a beautiful weapon. It hurts, but oftentimes, it works. The injuries are never fun, but they come with the territory of doing such intense and action-packed films. Whose injury do you think was most brutal?